to Plot Armor Online, where authors log in, level up, and sling spells of prose across the realms of fantasy and sci-fi. Dive deep into world building, battle-broken character arcs, and explore magic systems that defy the laws of reality. And maybe logic, too. Each week, a new companion is summoned to raid the latest releases and roast tired tropes with fiery hot takes. Whether you're crafting the first chapter or slaughtering darlings in your 10th rewrite, grab your quill, equip your shield, and roll for initiative. This is Plot Armor Online, hosted by Kevin and Matthew, two scribes on a quest through the multiverse of authorship.
Hello and welcome. This is Plot Armor Online. Welcome to episode 2. My name is Kevin. I have Matthew over here.
Hello, hello.
Video. Oh, there it goes. Kind of skipped a little bit. Okay, I do believe we are live. We have two viewers so far. So we were supposed to have a guest this week, but I guess scheduling conflicts happened, and it's just going to be us two today. But, you know, we're still hashing out some technical difficulties. Anyway, so my name is Kevin, or I go by KW Bassard on Twitch. And we are Plot Armor Online, this is episode 2. We're here to talk about all things fantasy and sci-fi in regards to independent authorship, writing, plot, world building, you name it. We'll probably talk about it at some point in time. Other than that, Matthew, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you have a book come out last week. Let's hear about that.
Yeah.
While I get the rest of this, while I get the rest of this kind of hashed out on the stream.
Yeah, a few technical difficulties. Never hurt anybody, right? Like Kevin here, I was also in IT for several years, so you know how this goes. Nothing ever seems to work quite right when you need it to, but yeah, I've been writing for a few years now, and my first book, Bloom, just recently released on April 28th. You can find it at fablevine.com. You can also read the first 11 chapters for free over at Royal Road, so you can give it a look, see if you like it. And I'm selling just the EPUB directly, so you can use whatever EPUB reader you want for that. There's many available out there, even some that have like auto readers that don't work too bad. They're not up to snuff with like a professional audiobook, but they get the job done if you prefer to listen to your books than read them. And of course, you can also upload it to your Kindle library if that's where you'd like your books to be. So it's a bit of maybe like a light urban fantasy with some romance. It's YA, and it's got a lot of mythological elements to it. So. No, we don't have our main guest here today, but we are always looking for more guests as well. So you can look us up on X, and they're in our we have a post down there where you can fill out a form to be able to be a guest on here. If you look through our posts, so. Always happy to have more people to Last week we had Nicole, but fortunately that didn't go. We had technical difficulties then too, so we'll have to have her on again sometime soon.
Why is it showing on the real stream? popped up on the restroom. Sorry. I'm getting used
No,
to
it's all right.
I had all of this set up and ready to go in OBS, and then I had something with the encoders that just didn't want to work, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on, but I know it worked kind of with Streamlabs last week, so let's just kind of go back to that, and we'll see where we can go. So I'm having to quickly import all of this stuff back over into Streamlabs that I already had set up. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. I'll pitch the Fellowship of the Indie Author as well a little bit. So you can find the Fellowship on X, and we have a Discord server as well. It's a big group of authors and writers and artists, and I think we got some editors on there and YouTubers, podcasters. We're all very into writing, happy to help each other, offer feedback. You know, it's a great community, lots of friendly people there. So highly suggest jumping on there if you are getting into writing and looking for just a supportive community who can help you along that path. So come check us out on X. A few other things that I'm involved in that you can look up. There's the Apex Writers Group that was created by Dave Farland before he passed away a couple years ago. And it's several actually events every week, live and all across the entertainment spectrum, all kinds of professionals who can do presentations on all kinds of subjects. I present on there about once a quarter or so, and that's a lot of fun. Definitely worth checking that out. It does have a membership fee, so be aware of that as you're looking into it. But it's a giant library, so all these videos, a lot of interviews that they do, they're not really videos. Like, you can join and be part of the conversation, and they record them all, and they're all in this giant library that you have access to when you're a member of Apex as well. So that's definitely something worth looking into. And then another thing, it's more of a local thing. LTUE, is Life, the Universe, and Everything, is a big writing symposium that happens every year in February in Provo, Utah. It's pretty well known across the country, but they also have some other things going on throughout the year. They've started up a book group, and so I think they're doing, I could be wrong, but I think they're doing like once a month a get together of different authors and just talking about a book that they all enjoy and love, and kind of talking about what makes it, you know, enjoyable to them and that kind of stuff. Just talking craft. So
Okay,
worth checking them out too.
I think I'm about as ready as we're gonna get. You know, I
All
don't
right.
want to make you talk all yourself. So oh man. So today,
No, it's
today, and this week, man, let me tell you. So this week, the last 3 days, I have been, I said I work in IT from the day job. Last 3 days, I essentially had to rebuild an entire floor and create them on their own network. I had to rebuild while users were waiting a DNS server and Active Directory server. Let me tell you. And then on top of that, trying to get this stream and everything going. So we've had quite a bit of stuff revealed this week. A little bit of news. I know we have Matthew published his book Bloom this past Monday on his birthday. On our episode 1 Saturday last week, we had our Russell Carroll's birthday. Dog walking author himself. And I don't know if did you ever see if he reached his purchase count or his buy count, like his goal for the month? The author.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Oh, Well, I know he was pretty close. He
Sure, hope so.
was pretty close. And then I kind of cheated. So next week we have Mr. Tyler Kirk on the show.
Great.
I watched his stream on all caps. Monday, Tuesday. And I was interfacing with him as Plot Armor Online through YouTube because it wouldn't let me change my name.
Nice.
So I was in the chat as the podcast teasing with him. But anyway, so we actually we got him coming on the stream next week, and I got a couple things. Oh, so there's Mr. Tyler Kirk right there, holding up his proof copy of the new edition of Arsonist, which is is it live now, or is it? I think it's
Yeah.
Oh, it was released
It's live.
today. It was released today, so it is published as of today. Hold on. And it is I think he's got it on Kindle Unlimited. So go over to Amazon, KDP, check out his new book, and then I've got there it is. Yeah, he posted this the other day too. I thought that was kind of cool. The Wanted Dead or Alive, the Arsonist porcelain doll picture. But anyway, so we got him coming on next week. We'll talk with him plenty. And some of the other cover reveals that I have on here. Let's kind of go down the line. So, some news: Mr. Timothy Wolf actually hit his goal of 100 ratings on The Whisper That Replaced God. I haven't had a chance to read this. I do have it on my Kindle. I know it's on the to be read list, but that's awesome. 67 reviews and 100 ratings at a 4.26. That's
fantastic.
pretty impressive. So as we keep going, let's see. We have S.S. Fitzgerald. Hold on, let me make this a little bigger so y'all can actually see this. Y'all can see this cover. So it looks like it's like a post-apocalyptic zombie. It's got some soldier silhouettes right here with burning city in the background and what looks like zombies right about here. Bottom thing. That looks pretty cool. That's a pretty cool looking cover.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
Tyler. This was posted a couple days ago on, I believe, on the Discord for the Fellowship. Dahlias in Darkness by Felicity Hewitt. It's book 2 of her Shadow Knight series. Maybe I didn't really get a chance to get a description of this because it was just like a picture, like, hey, cover reveal, here we go. And I haven't read the first book, but I do like the way this is art. Looks like some cherry blossoms, but those are flowers, not off of a tree. Anyway, I digress. So let's see. And then today we were supposed to have Mallory, but maybe we'll get him later. But this is his cover reveal. Well, I guess it kind of went live back in March. But The Journey of the Dark Tower, Morgan and Merlin's Excellent Adventures. Seems just Arthurian legends are always kind of interesting, but you're kind of, there's so much to do with it if you really go for it,
Yeah, and I don't know if he's intentionally evoking Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or what. It sounds like it could be kind of fun and silly.
Party on,
As well as,
Matthew.
magical and yeah.
Party on, Wayne.
Be excellent to each other.
Here's another one that revealed. I saw this on Discord. This is the universe of Avel. I hope I pronounced that right. Galactic Gazetteer by Richard E. Robertson. That is it. It almost looks like it's coming from the moon, perspective wise. I may be off on that. Great looking cover, though. Great looking cover. And then we have Haley Anna Marie's new cover reveal for the her Elementus series. It's actually a pretty. I love the purple kind of blood aesthetic. Almost looks like it's ink.
Yeah, that's another beautiful cover. I love it.
And that's Tyler Kirk. All right. So we've already seen that one. All right. We are up to 12 viewers. I don't know where exactly they're at. Twitch, are y'all in YouTube? Y'all can interact with us if y'all want to talk, and maybe I just can't see it on my Streamlabs. But glad to have y'all. Thanks y'all for tuning in. So Matthew had a presentation going on this week, and you were talking about plot twists, correct?
Yeah.
So besides the stream going haywire, let's plot twist.
Twist.
I've used that term so many times as a meme, because you could be like, I'm walking down the street one day and I've got a handful of something, and plot twist. That's not what it is. So why don't you? Yeah. Can we maybe go through that? Is there something we can talk about without your presentation material? Because I know you were trying to do a presentation class.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do this. Like I said, I do that for Apex regularly, about once a quarter. I do these presentations where we kind of do a deep dive into different writing techniques. And my latest one was on plot twists. And one thing to know about me is that I'm very much opposed to the concept of rules when it comes to writing rules, writing guidelines. I don't think that that's the right way to even think about it. I think they're more like techniques. And so when you think of something as rule, that makes it sound like if you know the rule, you know how to. If there were specific rules to writing, then if you knew those rules, you should be able to write a great book. But it's just not that simple. And when you think of them more as techniques that take practice to learn, and then also some amount of experience, wisdom gained through experience in writing to know how to implement those techniques, I think that's a more useful way to think of these kinds of things. And so with plot twists, one of the things that I kept hearing as I was learning all about writing, going to different writing conventions, watching all the YouTube videos, reading all the books, there was a consistent theme when it came to plot twists that there was a specific way that they had to be done or were expected to be done. Sometimes that's called, one way it's summarized is surprising yet inevitable. And that's just one of three of plot twists that I really started digging into this, and I call that the payoff twist, because you have setup and payoff, right? And so with that kind of plot twist, you're setting up clues and hints throughout the book. You can think of it as kind of the quintessential plot twist. The most famous example that everyone likes to cite is The Sixth Sense, because that was a great movie that the ending kind of blew everyone away when they found out the big twist at the end, right?
No spoilers.
And it was all set up along the way. Yeah. So that's just one kind of twist, though. And while it's definitely a very powerful kind of twist, I get sick of hearing that it's the right way to do it or the only way to do it. And so a couple others that we can discuss.
Sure.
But for example, so the three that I came up with as I was looking into this were the payoff, right? That first one. And then there's the pay up, and then the payback. It's how I kind of categorize them into these three different types of twists. And again, this isn't meant to be an inclusive list. Like, these are the only ways to do a twist. And really, a lot of them can be mixed and matched, right? There's kind of a Venn diagram you can put here where you can use all three to some degree.
I would say that,
and I'm sure there's more out there if you start digging and looking into it.
the way I usually do it is like totally. I don't know. There's no pay to it. It's like pay. I guess it would be the twist. I mean, it would be like really twist because it's like surprise. No.
Completely unseen.
Yeah.
Unexpected. All right. So
like
let's go through these.
Out in
you might
out in left field kind of twist. You know.
Yeah. You might find that one of these later two match because it doesn't match the first one, right? And that's what I found as I started looking into this, is when you're actually reading stories and watching movies or consuming any kind of story-based entertainment, that's not the only kind of twist out there, is the ones that have been set up. Where you get that kind of course moment when it happens. You're like, oh, of course, that's what would happen. You've been setting this up, and now that it's happened, I can easily connect all the dots and see that this is where the story was always going to go, even though it's still surprising in the moment. So let's jump to the next type, because I think everyone's kind of familiar with that first one. The next type I call a pay up. And this is, I name it pay up for the effort that goes into complicating the story after the fact. And so it's rarely the big twist at the end of a story, though it can be. And it's more often kind of the twist at the end of a middle part of a story. Like if you have a trilogy or something, oftentimes the second one will use this kind of twist. But more often than not, it's kind of the hiccups along the way in a journey. Is that, as you said, kind of come out of left field, out of nowhere, suddenly show up, and just have implications going forward, impact the characters, the plot, the arcs, whatever else is going on, right? Let's see examples of these. Sorry for the never watched Star Wars. But just to use a broad example that everyone should be aware of, hopefully, is at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. You know, that's Darth Vader telling Luke that he's his father, right? That comes out of nowhere. There's really no way for us to know that's going to happen. Which is easy to forget because it's just part of the culture now that everyone knows that. But at the time, when it first happened, all the audience knew was that Obi-Wan had said Darth Vader killed Luke's father. And so there was no reason for us to expect Vader to actually be Luke's father. That really came out of nowhere. And didn't make sense with what we already knew.
The funny thing with that is that you didn't actually hear how that whole twist came about, like as far as like the kill, like I mean, literally, until you watch the Obi-Wan show or the series, and he's like, you know, Anakin's no longer whatever. I killed him. It's that last couple episodes where it's literally Obi-Wan fighting against Vader in that epic battle of I think it's like episode 7. And I thought that was
I didn't watch series.
It was a neat little hat tip that they did after the fact. Sorry.
No, it's great. You know, some people complain about that twist, but the great thing, the reason what made it powerful and satisfying to the audience is because it immediately complicates everything, right? Now Luke's can't kill Vader to get revenge for his father because he is his father, right? Now, you know, everyone thinks Darth Vader is this evil bad guy. Are they going to treat Luke any different, knowing that, you know, there's a family relationship there? You know, how will this affect the story going forward? And that's where the second movie kind of ends, on this big note of now what? And that's kind of the intended response of the pay up twist is now what? What's going to happen? This changes everything. Oftentimes it can be used to like refocus the central conflict, where you think it's this, but now the twist happens and actually the central conflict is this. It's not what we thought it was. Trying to think, there's another great example is in The Lord of the Rings when Gandalf dies, right? Khazad-dûn, he down to his death. It's really unexpected because he is the most powerful of the group. He's the leader of the group. And so now that that's happened, that complicates everything. It complicates the power dynamic. It complicates the leadership dynamic. It complicates the wisdom dynamic. Like, this guy knows everything. He knows where we're going and how to get there. He knows all the tricks along the way, all these extra friends that can help. He's always pulling Deus Ex Machina out of his bag to fix things. So,
I think you're breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry, it went a little robot-y there for a second. It's fine. I think you're good now. It just every once in a while there's a hiccup.
You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I keep seeing
And
things go a little
and it's probably
squirrely, but
it's probably something along with me because we have 17 viewers right now, and almost all of them are in X. They're watching us from X. Thank you. And I had to bring
hello, X.
I had to bring the chat up for X so that I could see it, because it doesn't come through Streamlabs, and it won't come through OBS either. So that's kind of one of those weird. It's one of those weird like. Okay, I hope that hi. Oh, it does come through Streamlabs. Nobody was talking. Okay. Well, then I'll minimize that so I can save on some window resources. And I'll let you continue. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, that's great. I'm glad we have a chat. Hello, X. Welcome. We'd love to hear. And that's kind of one thing with this. When I give these presentations, I like to do them live at conferences, but also when I'm doing them online, I very much encourage the audience to join in, because this isn't just about me telling you how things work. It's actually, that's kind of what I loathe about a lot of these kinds of videos and presentations, is that it's really just me discussing what I've learned and sharing it with you, and hoping to learn from you as well and see what things you notice and what things connect with you and your writing style and your experience as a reader and all that kind of stuff. So, but just to conclude, we'll go to the final of the three, and that would be Payback. And this is another one that, like the second one, kind of comes out of nowhere, right? It's not expected, but it is different from the second one in that it's something that the audience hopes for, even though they don't expect it to be possible. And so I named this one Payback for the effort that it takes into crafting kind of this emotional context that makes the twist satisfying, even though it's kind of a Deus Ex Machina thing, because it provides a cathartic sense of justice to the audience. Like this is what should happen, even if it doesn't make sense for it to happen, or even if there's no, build up to it happening. It kind of comes out of nowhere, but it invokes a yes response. That's exactly what we want to happen. And there's a few examples of this. Again, we'll go to popular ones that we won't be spoiling big things for anyone.
Season
Once again,
2
Star
of
Wars is a great example of this.
Season 2 of Mandalorian.
Sorry, go ahead. Season 2 of what?
The season 2 finale of Mandalorian. That's the
you'll have to explain. Go for it.
So Din Djarin is on this ship. Got the child with him. They're all fighting against this dude, and all of it looks like everything's like gonna be lost, and all of a sudden, a ship shows up. Lo and behold, our our savior, Mr. 5 years after Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker shows up and completely owns the Dark Troopers.
Mm.
Such a great payoff. Dude, I was cheering that whole scene.
And that's great. I haven't seen it, but that sounds exactly like what I'm talking about, where it comes out of nowhere, but it just feels so good. It's exactly what you want to happen. Even if you don't know you want it to happen, when it happens, you're like, yes. There goes our soundboard. Nice.
Did you hear it that time?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did.
Yeah, so as we go with this podcast, it's a learning experience. I have never dealt with any kind of like, audio mixing or anything like that until I decided, hey, I think a podcast would be fun. You never and if it's just you, I said this like last week too, but it really didn't get to air. If it's ever just you on a stream and all you're doing is just like streaming some video games and stuff up there, easy as pie. When the minute you're trying to add in other people's cameras and you're trying to add in
Audio.
other people's cameras and you're trying to add in other people's audio feed and you're throwing in other sources and whatnot, is it compounds the problem of the stream exponentially. Last week we were good to go, great and everything, and then all of a sudden audio just decided to cut out. We did an entire hour show with Nicole from the Fellowship, and there was no audio for Matthew or Nicole. And I feel so bad because
Nicole, that's like the second or third time that's happened to her.
I really would like now, once I get everything going, maybe get her back on the show and at some point. But I don't know. Maybe she we'll give her some time. And but I've learned a lot just trying to get this this podcast going for us. And I really appreciate the expertise that Matthew brings to the show. Me, don't look at me. I'm just a video game nerd.
You're bringing the tech expertise.
I'm an IT guy. I'm a video game nerd. I love deep diving into lore of whether it's Star Wars. This is the May, by the way. It is Star Wars month, and then tomorrow will be our the normal kickoff. But I have so many genres that I enjoy writing fanficting for, whatever. I'll come up with ideas and I'll just be like, I really love to do this. And it's just the when it comes to the technical expertise on it, like there's such a huge learning curve with a lot of this, and I'm learning just as well. But I mean, oh my God, with everything else life throws at you, like who has time to sit there and try to figure out how to route your audio connections and communications through a software package that you have absolutely no idea, and you can't really test it until like 15 minutes prior to this podcast airing. So anyway, I digress. So going
No,
through,
it's
go ahead.
no. We have any comments? I have a couple examples just share real quick, and then I'd love to hear from the audience if they have any comments.
Yeah, we're kind of about 15, 20 minutes. We're kind of about 15, 20 minutes ahead of schedule because we bypassed the whole guest speaker segment of the stream. So, and we kind of jumped right into deep dive main topic. I don't really have, I guess you could say the book of the week would be Tyler Kirk's Arsonist, since it did air today. I mean, we could say that, and we'll talk to him next week, find out how well a week's worth of sales go. Your book aired this week, so and how many sales have you had so far this week?
I've had about 20, and I've got 6 reviews on it, and it's a little not on Kindle. It's not it's not on Amazon anywhere. It's just hosted on my own website, so it's a little tough for people over there, but that's okay. It's coming along.
See if I can pull it back up. I know I had it. Hold on. Sources.
While you're doing that, real quick, I'll go through these last two examples for the payback. Just things that kind of pretty much everyone will be familiar with. You have like the end of Star Wars at the end of Episode 6 when Darth Vader, does turn back. He does redeem himself by throwing the Emperor down the hole. That's really there's no reason for the audience to really expect it to happen from a narrative standpoint. We're hoping that Luke's right. We're hoping there's still some good left in him. And when that moment comes and that happens, it's very cathartic. It's a very yes moment. And it has consequence too. It's not just an easy solution to the problem, because now, Darth Vader's basically Anakin now has sacrificed himself to save his son and really kind of the whole universe at that point. And another example that people should be familiar with most likely is Gandalf coming back to life, right? We have the pay up surprise at the end of Fellowship of the Ring where he dies unexpectedly, and then we have the payback surprise at the beginning, or near the beginning at least, of the Two Towers, where now he's back and he's more powerful than ever, and it just feels right. Even though it is kind of a Deus Ex Machina moment, there's no reason for us to expect him to come, let alone come back to life even more powerful than before. But it just feels like the universe has done something good, something just for Gandalf and for the party and so the audience can enjoy it a lot. So I just want to encourage you to not be afraid to try different kinds, to try and do these kinds of things. And none of them are easy. No three of these methods are easy to pull off. They require a lot of effort, either ahead of time, building up all the hints and clues for that payoff to come along and feel like it's been earned, or they require, a lot of work afterward to make the payoff get earned. Story by twists.
I think we went a little robot-y there.
Yeah, I can see my stream loading again. All right. But anyway, that's the really quick version.
Okay, so I have your book up here on Bloom. Sorry,
Yeah.
and this is Fablevine. Fablevine. I've never actually, until you mentioned that you were posting your book on Fablevine, I hadn't heard of it yet.
It's just because it's my own website. It's not a.
Oh,
It's just me on there for now.
well then. So, and is the link through? You're only selling it on your website. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep. I'm absolutely insane, but that's how I'm doing it.
And it's only ebook, right?
Yeah. It's a EPUB format, so that's usable with any of the ebook readers. And I have a little how-to page there if you're a little nervous about, just buying an EPUB in the wild and not sure what to do with it. That you can check out that how-to. It's actually really easy. There's all kinds of e-readers you can use, and you can always upload it to your own Kindle library as well.
So you talked to us a little bit about your book last week, Bloom, and you compared it to. I don't even know. I mean, would you want to compare it to? I'm having a brain fart. Paranormal teenage angst. What's the
Twilight
Twilight?
Is often where people go.
Yeah.
That's the obvious comparison, even though I would say it's not really anything like it on a on a deeper level. But yeah, surface level, there are definitely some similarities. You know, it's got vampires and werewolves, but they're not anything like you've seen before with vampires and werewolves. I actually came at this book from a really strange angle.
No sparkly
At the time,
vampires.
I was writing on Royal Road. No sparkly vampires. They're not immortal vampires either. So I was actually writing on Royal Road at the time and just kind of having writing different serials. And I got this idea for a farce, a Twilight farce, where there was this kid who believed he was a vampire because he had these different issues. And I had this idea of it just being kind of this comedy. But as I started building out the characters and the world and the mythology behind it, I actually thought I actually really like this. There's a cool idea in here somewhere. So I really started letting it percolate and building it out seriously. And at the same time, I had, you know, a daughter becoming a teenager and a son getting close to becoming a teenager. And I really wanted to be able to create a book that they could read and enjoy, and not just one of them, but both of them. And so, while it does have romantic elements, it's not exactly a romance. While it does have coming of age elements, it's not a of age story. It's kind of a mix of a few different things.
So would you
And that's intentional because I wanted it to feel. Sorry, go ahead.
classify this in the young adult area?
Yes. Yeah, young adult for sure. But it's a mature young adult, and by mature I don't mean content wise. I mean theme wise, right? It's got some darkness to it. There's a lot of themes of grief and overcoming grief, and there's a lot of there's kind of the typical coming of age, learning to accept yourself, but also in a way that is more about um, what's the right word for it? I'm kind of losing it. Let's see. It's it's not really as much about accepting yourself as it is about deciding who you want to be
Self-discovery?
and embracing self self determination. There we go. That's the word I was looking for, right?
Okay.
So I think I'm maybe going a little robotic again here.
Well, I'm trying not to do much. Like I've only got like so much stuff opened up, and I'm trying not to
Yeah, here you go.
have too many things opened up to take up my bandwidth because unfortunately I live out in the boondocks of Texas, and I'm having to do this off of a Starlink satellite, which most of our viewers are on X. You would think that there would be some kind of proprietary communication between the two systems, and it doesn't happen that way. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on because we're for time we're at about 43 minutes. Do we have any questions or answers from the chat? We actually have viewers this week, so we can communicate with you guys. Do y'all have any questions of us? Maybe, is there anything you would like us to answer? I guess
Not seeing any
I
any
don't.
comments on the X video.
I sure hope there's a huge number of bots on X, and that's where most of our viewers are coming from right now.
You never know.
We got one on YouTube and one on Twitch, and then we've got 15, I'm guessing, through X. And I don't know which one. You might be one of them, Matthew, and my wife's on the other side of the room watching on her phone or computer. And it's hard to have a Q&A if Twitch, I don't know, let's hope most of them aren't bots, but that's what I was trying to get at. Most of our viewers. Cool Dust Art, watching through Twitch and notice some lag if you're streaming on Twitter as well as Twitch. Have that effect. Okay, well, we'll take that in consideration. next week. So we might have to just stream to one location and uh, upload later
Cold Dust,
on.
happy to have you here, though, buddy. Cold Dust here is an aspiring artist. He's pretty good. I think he does. He live streams his writing, his drawing as well. If I'm not wrong.
Cold Dust followed us last week, right at the end of the live stream.
Cool, yeah.
Brandy asks Matthew, how has your experience been publishing on your own?
Difficult. It's a lot of work to even get anyone to look at it, even friends and family. Yeah, and that, you can't take it personally. People are busy, people have lives, you know. But you do have to just be aware that marketing yourself is going to be easily 50% of your time spent once you've self-published. I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah,
so just be aware of it.
That is a huge question to really answer, because there's so many levels of that. You have the writing, obviously. You're going to write the you have your manuscript, and then you have to do the editing. You have the book cover that you have to come up with on your own. And then, I mean, if we're talking the self-publishing part of it, honestly, once you have everything ready to go and done, KDP is like the easiest part of it. Ingram Spark is a little bit harder to publish up to. But like once I don't know, like you have it and then you just put it out there. But the editing part of it, that for me, the editing hell is what I call it. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Go ahead.
I get that editing is really not a fun part. Writing is definitely the most fun part. I actually enjoy editing to some degree. So, different people are going to feel differently about that. But one of the things that I enjoy about editing, specifically editing Bloom, was that I wrote Bloom and then I spent, a lot of time working on my craft generally. I just wanted to become the best writer that I could be. So I was doing a lot of learning, a lot of practicing. I do like a weekly writing prompt group. And part of those writing prompts are always challenges to make you kind of write in different ways. Things like you can't use any be verbs, or you can't use any adverbs, or you can't use the word the, or, the stuff like that, just to make you really work on your general prose and clean it up. And so as I did that, and as I became more confident and more, I would say, skilled through practice and time as a writer, going back and then editing Bloom was actually kind of enjoyable, because it's really weird to go back and read your old writing and cringe and just see how bad it is. But at the same time, it's so satisfying to know that you have come so far as a writer that you recognize that your old writing was awful, right? And so it's this kind of weird double-edged sword. But at the same time, it was nice to know that I was making the best book that I was capable of making, which doesn't mean it's perfect, obviously, but for me, I got Bloom to a point where I can be proud of it, and I really enjoy it. I like it. Nice. And I hope that as a writer, you like what you are writing, because you're really your only guaranteed audience. So if you're not liking it, I would move on, maybe find something to write that you are enjoying writing, and that maybe even you enjoy editing to some degree, in the aspect of making it the best that you can make it, at least.
Yeah.
So that other people can appreciate and enjoy it.
You're writing a story that's coming out of your head. So I mean, it should be a book that you enjoy, you should be its biggest fan. And if you're sitting there trying to get it out on this out on the page, and then granted, when you're starting out and you're getting it all done and everything, you're typing it out, you're all excited, you're getting that prose out, you get that rough draft done, and you're like, done, I'm good, 67,000 words, and you're like, wait a second, and you go back and you reread it, and you're like, hey, yeah, oh, this needs work. This needs work. And then, you do it again,
Yep.
and then you do it again, and then you do it again. And, 4, 5, 6, 7, edit version 26. You're still like, man, who's writing this crap? And, I'm missing periods. There's commas. By the time you get that point, hopefully that's all you're
Yeah,
finding
yeah.
is like little punctuation errors and stuff. Misspellings. Oh, I forgot to put a space here. Oh, my keyboard put 2 spaces here.
Oh man.
But you
I
do.
sent out my art. Sorry, go ahead, finish.
I was gonna say, but sometimes you do have to take the break. Like you write it.
Yeah.
You have to let your eyes, in your head, brain matter, get that gray matter a little rest, and then come back with it. After a week or two or month or however long it takes. To get back to it and actually come back at it the way that with the enthusiasm that you should have on it. Because it
Mhm.
is your baby. That's your creation. And if you're not happy with it, then you need to figure out what, like, maybe take a step back, reevaluate some stuff, and maybe dedicate a little bit more time, or take some time away and then come back at it later on to reevaluate. Um, that's kind of what I'm doing right now with my 2 whips. I'm kind of taking a break. I look at them every once in a while, and I'm thinking of them all the time. But like, I can't look at the Word document right now because I know what's there. I wrote it, but it's like I'm doing the anthology. I'm sitting at. I've kind of typed that stuff up a little bit. My story is sitting at about 7,300 words or something like that. But now I've got to trim it down to about 5,000. And I tell you what, I'm not going to enjoy that one bit because it's
Yeah. That's
the
tough.
7,300 words was pushing it, just trying to get a feasible, what I would think is a feasible chapter. Uh, just the way I write, and description. I mean, I tried to put a lot into it, but that's still about a good chapter size, like 5,000, 5,000 words is kind of is there. 7,000 is kind of really pushing it on the overboard. But if that's all I've got, then that's all I got. Either way, so I've got to trim that down, figure out where my some of my fat is at in that write up. Good thing is it's I've got it segmented into about 7 scenes, give or take. For that 7, so about 1,000 words a scene. I might be able to trim a little bit more than I think I can. So, maybe take, don't need this, toss it out. So we'll see. I've got a month to do that, but it'll be an interesting thing. I'll send it to you at some point, Matthew, so you can kind of read over it and tell me how bad.
Yeah,
Tell
absolutely.
me
I'd love
tell me
to.
how bad I am at.
No, no,
But it's
I really actually enjoy beta reading. So
it is very Lovecraftian with a little bit of grimdark and speculative fiction on it. So
nice.
it's with the anthology.
Sounds good to me.
It's it's got a scouting group that has to go find a location and report back because they lost contact with this town, and they go out there and they find something else, and then 2 of them go missing, and the whole world is just kind of going crazy. So it's like, yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, anyway, so we are nearing the end of the time. Is there anything else that we need that we chat would like us to answer? Because otherwise, I think we're gonna wrap up today. Oh, Mallory, bloody hell, just seen this. Oh, Valerie, that's okay. We'll get you at some point in the future, brother.
Yeah. Doing this every week. We'll get you back.
He said I have this down for 9 p.m. my time. I'm so sorry, mate. That's all right, Mallory. We'll get you in a future week. We kind of already aired today. I don't want to go on for too long. Usually these podcasts, I know we're episode 2. These podcasts are only going to be about maybe an hour, hour and a half long at max. I really don't want to push it more than that because then we just kind of get in.
Yeah.
Unless we're just having a good time. If we're having a good time, then hey, we'll banter back and forth and whatnot. But until then,
Yeah.
I wish all of y'all thank you for coming and seeing us for our first official live show on Twitch, YouTube, and X. We'll probably what we'll do is we'll cut it down to maybe Twitch and YouTube, and then we'll post the video links on X later. But I don't know. I mean, most of y'all are watching from Twitch. Is it coming across okay? I mean,
Max.
huh?
From X, really? Is that where they're watching from?
Well, yeah, most of our viewers
I've
right
got a
now
couple
are
on
are
Twitch.
coming from X. So I guess we'll see. I
Yeah.
haven't been seeing any chat come across except for what I sent and what you sent. So I don't know if it's like maybe is there a chat setting that's not on or something, or maybe we just got some quiet viewers. But
Yeah, maybe.
anyway, we will bid farewell to you this week. May the 4th be with you tomorrow, and just remember that this is the May. All right, y'all have a good afternoon.